Dave Ramsey joins me here to answer some of your questions. We start off with Destiny, who writes, what's the biggest thing that you want people to take from this event? We were just talking about that. Today's theme, very specific.
Yeah, very. Sarah's smart, isn't she?
Oh, very bright.
She's incredible.
And, you know, she's a great example of how we take leaders and we develop them. And she's moved up and stepped so effortlessly into that role.
Well, she was a star salesperson, a star sales leader, and now one of our top vice presidents. Yeah, she's incredible. So, I mean, the biggest thing we want folks to take away is two things. One is you can do it, and two is you better. Because it's coming at you, baby. Change is about the only thing we can count on. And, you know, and that should both invoke energy and a healthy kind of a fear, like I talked about. It's hard to talk about fear and make it healthy, but fear done properly in this setting moves you. It gets you out of the street so you can get hit by a car.
Yeah. All right, now let's go to Davia, who writes, how do you know it is time to close the business or continue the fight? Boy, this is near and dear to your heart. Man. I've heard you talk about this many times from the EntreLeadership stage.
Well, even closing a product line or a department within a business, which is very hard for us to do because we don't launch anything we don't believe so deeply in we would die for it kind of thing, and then you have to kill one of your children in a sense, you know, and I'm kidding, but not. You know, how do you know? My friend Henry Cloud wrote a wonderful book called Necessary Endings. I'll recommend it to you if you're facing this. But one of the chapters in there kind of brings the whole thing down to its essence. And he says, when you lose hope in a relationship, a business, a career, a job, whatever it is, when you lose hope that things are going to get better, and the loss of hope is logical, it's reasonable to lose hope, then you would close, you would quit. In other words, he used an example of if you're dating someone who's addicted and they keep saying, I'm gonna quit drinking, I'm gonna quit doing drugs, I'm gonna quit drinking, and for a little while they go sober, but then they fall back off. Well, eventually you go, this person is not gonna stay sober. I've lost hope, and that relationship needs to come to an end. And the same thing's true in business. You know, we've tried to make money, we adjusted. We don't know, we can't see anything we can adjust that make this where we can make money. Then it's illogical to continue. That means you've lost hope. We can't change this product enough for it to be successful. We can't see our way for this to be successful. You don't just continue running into a wall. That's stupid. Some businesses, for instance, you get in a space where there's a race to the bottom, meaning the price point is just dropping, and the margins are dropping, and the players in the space get slimier and slimier. And it just keeps dropping. And all of a sudden you look up, and we looked up in one of those spaces in a highly regulated, the government was breathing down our throat all the time. The price point kept going down. The margins kept going down. The customer acquisition was harder. We really couldn't see a scenario where 5 years from now we were going to be happy with this. And so we closed it. And we took the people in that department, used them in other areas in the company. And it was something we've been working on for about 10 years. And we had to quit. But you lose hope based on logic that you can't, but if you still got one more thing to try that you think might work, then try that thing before you do it.
Let me do a quick follow-up there, because once they've decided, okay, it is the right time to quit, our good friend John Maxwell wrote a book called Failing Forward. Just speak to that real quick, that even though you failed and you've admitted that, okay, it didn't work, that doesn't mean it's final.
No, it doesn't. And you do a CSI, you do an autopsy on what happened. And because there's always a learning from a failure. And you go, okay, I ran the car in the ditch because I was looking at my phone. Well, don't look at your phone while you drive. I hired this person, and I knew down deep in my heart that it was a bad idea. And then when I had to fire them, my heart reminded me that it told me that. And so, we got a saying around our place: if something feels weird to several people, it's because it's weird, and quit ignoring it and that kind of stuff. So, did you ignore some of that stuff that was going on and go forward? The simple go forward. Andy Stanley wrote a book about that. The simple, see evil and go forward anyway. And that's the opposite.
All right. Final question from Denise. She writes, what advice would you give your younger self about your business and personal finances?
Depends on which younger self, how young. But if it was really young, it'd be way different. But I mean, after bankruptcy and just starting and running this business and growing our wealth the second time, then what would happen there? What advice would I give? I think a couple things. One is you're probably going to make it with your money. You're probably going to make it with your business. You're probably going to be successful. And I am positive it's going to be harder than you think. And there's stuff you're going to face that you didn't know was coming. And you can do it. I think you're going to do it. That's what I would tell myself. I think you're going to make it, but you're going to have to work harder and put up with more stuff than you ever dreamed you would have to do. I could not anticipate that I was going to have 800 people now when I was 32 and hired my first person. I could not anticipate it was going to take that to get this business to this point. But I did see that there was tremendous opportunity helping people with their money or with their leadership. I could see that, but I couldn't see how much work it was going to be. I couldn't see the heartache that we've been through. I couldn't see how tired I was going to be sometimes. I couldn't see how deeply rich it is in our soul to have people like Ken and Sarah on our team. And I didn't see those things coming, but I did see the opportunity. So it's going to be harder than you think. You're going to make it, and it's going to take longer than you think.